Good morning, everyone, and welcome. It looks like we still have some people coming in. Thank you so much for joining us today for this Recharge Your Success workshop, getting you ready for winter 2021. This is a hands-on goal setting virtual workshop, so you will get actual skills to be successful in this winter semester. We have Megan Rose and Anthony Webster and Soye here with us. These are librarians, tutors, success coaches, and they are going to work on SMART goals with you and developing a SMART goal plan for the semester. And you will walk away with these goals in hand and access to all of the resources that you will need to be successful hopefully all the resources you will need to be academically successful this semester. So we are going to have a short video from our Executive Vice President, Kim Hearns. It's a welcome video. And then I will have Megan, Anthony, and Soya give you their own introductions, and we'll get going.
Hello, and welcome to Recharge Your Success. The Student Success Conference in the fall was to help you plug in the WCC. And we are excited to host an event to help you recharge your success after your first full semester in college. A book I often recommend and reference is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And one of the habits in that book is sharpening the saw. It is so important as you need to preserve and enhance your greatest asset, you. College is a great time to build and develop good habits. And each semester, you get to try new things and sharpen the saw. Your mind, your body, your heart, and your soul. One of the most wonderful things about a college experience is that you learn to learn. And we hope today you will become aware of tools, support, and strategies to make this the semester you will build stronger habits for academic success. Again, enjoy the day. And it's a great opportunity to recharge and reconnect for another wonderful semester at Washtenaw Community College.
And if you would like to ask questions and talk with VPI Hearns, she will be available when we reconvene. There are several sessions going on right now, and so we will join together as a big group at the end, and I will make sure to post the main room link to that session, and you can talk directly, ask questions of VPI Hearns and all of us if you have more questions. And we will go over a lot of information today, so just know that all of the slides and links will be emailed to you and will be available on the website. So now I'm going to turn everything over to Megan, Anthony, and Soye.
Well, I guess I'll start out by introducing myself first. My name is Megan Rose, and I'm one of the faculty librarians here at WCC. The areas that I primarily work in are digital media arts and the behavioral sciences, but I can help you out with research on just about anything. So welcome, everyone. It's good to have you here.
And good morning. My name is Anthony Webster, and I am a success coach at Washtenaw Community College. And if you're wondering what exactly a success coach is, I am here to help you navigate your WCC experience from anything from time management, test taking skills, study habits, even things outside the classroom with helping you manage things like finding funding to pay your tuition, getting books, and things of that nature. So I always tell students anything under the sun that you need assistance with as you navigate your college experience, whether it be good or bad. Make sure you're connecting with your success coach so that way we can help you navigate your experience and get you in the right direction. I have a saying that I always say that if I don't know the answer, I'll help you find someone that does. So feel free to connect with me if you have any questions.
Hello, my name is Soye. I'm a peer tutor at Learning Commons. Basically, I help with study skills. If you have any questions or you trying to find strategies to study better, to become a better student, yes, we're always there to help you. We have, you can visit our website, www.wccnet.edu/LC, to see all the available schedules and how you can reach not just me, but any of the tutors, and all the time and different schedules. We're always glad to be of help if you have any questions. Thank you.
All right, so with that, I guess we'll go ahead and get this party started. And so what we're gonna do first is some housekeeping rules. I see that you all are currently on mute, and I see a few students that have their cameras turned off. But if you want to cut your camera on, feel free to do so. We would love to see your faces. Since we can't see you in person, it'll be good to see your faces. But if you have connection or bandwidth issues, I totally understand if you want to keep your camera off, so totally understand that. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat, and then we'll have someone also watching the chat as well. So feel free. And again, there is no such thing as a stupid question. You're here to learn. So feel free to make sure if you have any questions to put those in the chat box, so that way we can get those questions answered. Or if you do have anyone that you don't want to ask in public or put in the chat, just write those down and we can connect you with someone later on after the presentation to get those questions answered. Really quickly, a quick overview of the morning. We just did introductions. We're going to do a really fun activity called Poll Everywhere, so get ready for that. We're going to do what is a goal, why are goals important, motivation and goal setting. We're going to do some SMART goals today, support systems at WCC, and then we're going to create some goals. So you're going to walk away with some tangible things to help you get started this winter semester. And I can't believe I'm saying that out loud. Next week starts school, but you're going to have some tangible things that, and I always encourage students that when you write your goals down today, don't be afraid to adapt and adjust them as needed, right? And you'll talk about that ongoing throughout the presentations today. So feel free to, as we go through today, take this on as a learning experience, be a sponge, soak it in. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to let us know, and then we'll make sure that we get those questions answered for you. So without further ado, we're going to jump right into the Poll Everywhere. So if you have a smartphone, take out your smartphone, or you can use your computer, okay? And what we're going to do is I'm going to have you text the word Anthony, WEBST 319 to 37607. And if you can, when you've texted that number and you're ready to go, put it in the chat that you're ready. Say I'm ready in the chat if you will, whether you're on your phone or if you are on the computer as well. And I think I want to play, I don't know if the other presenters want to do it as well, but I want to play along too, just so that way we can have transparency in the group, because I need to do some goal setting myself for the winter semester. So just put it in the chat when you're ready to go, so that way we'll have a good consensus of who's ready. Okay. All right, all right, all right. So what we're gonna do is, let's see, I'm in. Thank you so much, Beth, I appreciate it. All right, so we're gonna wait a few more seconds, so that way if you're having technical difficulties, let us know as well, so that way we can make sure that you're getting in as well. All right, see, okay, so someone said they're very confident. Oh, confident, good. All right, so go ahead, if you're in, you can go ahead and start to answer the poll question, and I'm going to answer it myself. All right, somewhat confident. Okay, give it a few more seconds. Make sure everyone has gone. Okay. All right. So we seem to have 50% of our people are confident, 40% of our people are somewhat confident. And for those of you who said, I'm feeling really confident and ready to start, kudos to everyone. So luckily no one put A, that I'm not ready to start, because we would have to have a different conversation. But I'm happy that you're all somewhat confident, and they're really confident. And those of you who are somewhat confident, hopefully at the end of this presentation, you will be hitting the C and D mark and ready to rock and roll for next week. All right, so keep in that, so that same text message that you're in right now, or that same website that you're on, we're gonna go to the next polling question. And I can click on the, let's see. All right, I am confident about my program of study. So that means your major. What's your program of study? What are you majoring in? How confident are you about your major selection? I'm gonna answer it as well. I told you I would play along. All right, so someone said unsure. So for anyone who says unsure, let's have a conversation. You don't have to tell me who you are right now, but make sure we connect so that way we can have a conversation about that. Or if you're confident, put that in the chat. Have that conversation. Let's be transparent. We want to make sure that you're getting your questions answered. All right, so I'm going to give it a few more seconds to make sure that we have participation. Okay. Oh, you can start a timer down here. Wow, the more you know. All right. So again, we have 90% of our guests today are confident about their program of study or major. And we have a few people who may be a little unsure. Again, if you have questions about your major selection, make sure you're chatting with someone today about that. So that way we can make sure you're in the right spot and that you're on the right track. We're going to move over to our next polling question. Let's see. It takes forever to move next. How many credits will you be taking this semester? How many credits will you be taking this semester? 13 plus. Wow. All right. We have someone 9 to 12, 1 to 4, 5 to 8. All right. I sometimes forget to make my response. Hold on one second. I'm taking, so I'm playing along, guys, because I'm an actual student as well. So this is all actual information that I'm giving too. So I'm playing along in true fashion. All right. So I'll give it a few more seconds. All right, I'm going to think that everybody's gone. So we have a couple of people taking 1 to 4 credits, and 20% taking 5 to 8, another 20% taking 9 to 12, and about 50% of our students are taking 13 or more. All right, so no matter how many credit hours that you're taking, I always encourage students to make sure that you are keeping up with your time management with your courses, that you are documenting, that you are and having conversations with your instructor. So, no matter how many classes that you have, make sure that you kind of have a folder or something, that way you're kind of managing all those courses properly, so that way you're not overlapping or missing assignments and things like that. So kudos to you all, and especially kudos to those people who are taking 13 plus. That's a huge course load. So kudos to you for that, for taking on that course load, but just making sure that you're managing those courses and your time and your health and your mental capacity well. But again, make sure you're connecting with your resources if you have any questions. All right, we're going to move on to the next polling question, which is, if a student is taking 12 credit hours, how many hours a week should they study per week? Okay, we have 1 answer in. Okay, 2 answers, 3 of 4, 40%, 5. I'm just assuming when it moves, someone submits an answer. So that's why I'm counting the numbers like that. Let's see. I'm going to answer as well. All right, so we got half. Oh, whoop, let's see. So 56% of our students said 22 to 30 hours, and then 24 to 36 of our students said 44% said 24 to 36 hours. The actual answer is D, 24 to 36 hours, all right? And it may sound like a lot, but when you break that down throughout the course of an entire week, It's not a lot, right? So make sure, again, if you're taking 12 or more credit hours, that you are studying appropriately for each one of your classes. So make sure you're blocking off time for each one of your classes, so that way you can have the appropriate amount of time to study for your courses, so that way you're not falling behind or missing out on anything. And again, I always encourage students, make sure you're connecting with your instructors, other classmates, your peers, if you have any questions regarding any of the subject matters for the class moving forward. All right, we're going to move over to our next question here. What type of responsibilities do you have? Let's see. All right, so give it a few more minutes. All right, so I see some responses still coming in here. And as your responses are coming in, I'll just do a quick poll. So 25% of our students said full-time, 25% said full-time, and I work part-time or full-time, and 50% said full-time, and I work part-time or full-time, and I'm a parent. So one thing that I really like to tell students at WCC is that we understand that our students have a multitude of things going on, both inside and outside the classroom. So we make sure that we are accommodating wherever and however we can to support you to the finish line. So make sure, whether you are a full-time student with a job or if you're a parent, make sure that you are connecting with your resources again to make sure that, because things happen, right? Life happens. So we want to make sure that you understand that we are here to support you every step of the way. And for those individuals who are parents, we also have resources for parents at WCC as well. So make sure you're connecting with that. We have childcare resources and things of that nature. So make sure that you are aware of those resources. And if you have questions about those, we'll be happy to give you more information on those following the presentation. We're going to move over to our next slide here. I manage my time by staying organized by using A, a digital calendar, B, paper planner, C, web extension, D, I keep everything in my head. I have a great memory. I don't know about D. I could never do D. Nothing would get done. So if anybody puts D, kudos to you for that, because I don't know how you do it. All right, so we have 38% of our students said they use a digital calendar, which is great. Make sure you're using your digital calendar. One rule of thumb that I always do when I put things on my calendar is as soon as I set an appointment, as soon as I make a scheduled meeting or I have an assignment due, I go immediately and put it in my phone on my calendar. So that way I'll know when it's due. So that way, and also what I do as well is I give myself grace a few weeks ahead of time to make sure I'm putting, okay, work on this, Anthony. So that way you can get it done or have some time to get things done. For those of you who use a paper planner, kudos to you for that. Paper and I don't get along, but keep doing that. That's awesome. That's great. I like reminders, and papers can't remind me, right? So that's why I use my digital calendar. So if you're using your paper calendar, keep doing the great work and make sure that you're utilizing those. And we actually have paper planners for students at WCC. So if you would like one of those paper calendars, if you don't have one and you want a new one, if you want a couple of more, we can actually get you some calendars sent out. So let us know if you need a paper calendar, and I'll personally make sure that we get you one of our student planners so that way you can have a paper planner on hand. For web extensions, websites, or phone applications, all great as well. Again, any way that you're doing that besides D, kudos to you. Again, we want to make sure that you are using in some capacity, managing your time well, right? Again, don't be afraid to adjust as needed when things aren't going as well. So make sure that when you have a lot going on in your life, whether it's school or your personal life, that you're managing your time well by using one of these devices or all three, right? We're going to move over to our next slide here. Oh, well, that was our last slide. Wow. All right. So what I'm going to do now is hand it over to Soye, who will talk about what is the goal and get you started on your goal setting projects. Thank you so much.
Hi again, everyone. My name is Soye, like I said. Can you hear me good? Okay, so goals. I'll be taking the session. I'll be showing you what goals are and why do we need to set goals, and how goals can help your motivation, and also how to set effective goals. So what are goals? Goals are end result, what you're trying to achieve, the end result of something, what you're looking at to achieve in a couple of days, months, years. That's what goals are. So, and goals can be set in different areas of our lives. We can set health goals, we can set personal goals, we can set academic goals, whatsoever, depending on what you're trying to achieve. Also, there are short-term goals and there are long-term goals. Short-term goals are goals you want to achieve in a couple of days, weeks, months. And long-term goals are goals you're looking at, oh, what I want to achieve in like 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, depending on where you're starting from. For whichever thing or whatever you're trying to achieve, setting goals, very, very important. We'll be seeing why we need to set goals. Whichever way or whatever you're trying to achieve, you need to set goals. So why are goals important? Firstly, goals help us with our motivation. When we set goals, we are motivated. It gives you a sense of direction. If you have goals set out, you know which path you're going to take to get to that goal. And that also helps you focus. You can focus well when you have things you're working towards, instead of just doing everything you don't even know where you're going to. So that's some of the reasons why goals are important. It also keeps you going, propels you. Setting goals propels you, keeps you going, because you know the end result. You keep going, you keep taking a step after another to get to where you're going. Then breaking down goals, you can also break down big tasks into smaller goals. Probably if you have something that looks big, maybe I want to do a project, I can break it down into small pieces that looks, achievable. That's like stepping stones to achieve a bigger objective. But by breaking it down into smaller tasks, I'm able to achieve it easily. Also, it adds a sense of accountability. You're able to account, oh yeah, I'm getting towards it. I still have this to go. And it provides, challenges. You're being challenged to keep going. So setting goals as students, as professional, as whatever, it's very, very important because it keeps you motivated. The next slide will be showing you how motivation and goals, setting goals help your motivation. So motivation comes from one source. You're going to be, if you're going to be anything you want, is you. It all starts with you. You're the source of your own motivation. And unless you identify what you want, it will be very difficult to feel motivated. That's why it's important to set goals. Goals actually, help you to identify what you want to achieve. And by doing that, you'll be motivated too, because you know where you're going to, there's a motivation to keep going. So goals and motivation work hand in hand. You want to get motivated, you want to increase your motivation level, set goals. Then it's easy to achieve what you're trying to achieve. So the next slide. So motivation can be impacted by, some of the things that impact our motivations are, promise of reward. If you know that the outcome will be positive, like at the end of this goal, and at the end of this, I'll be probably given an award or a recognition or a reward or something. It keeps you going, you're motivated because you're looking at the end goal and what you're going to get at the end of it. Also, our motivation are impacted by consequences. If you don't do the task, you know that, there's going to be a negative outcome if I don't do this. So you'll be encouraged to complete that task. And again, your desire to complete other activities. If you don't want to complete a task, you may be tempted by other activities. So motivation is important. Goals and motivation. So the idea is once you know what you're trying to achieve, you have it written down, then you're being motivated. You're being propelled daily to move towards what your goals are. Now, here are some tips to help you stay motivated. Change your perspective. If you're finding it difficult to stay motivated, you need to check, what am I doing? Maybe I need to do it this way. Maybe I need to check this way. So change your perspective, then prioritize high impact tasks. If you have a lot of things to do, sometimes when we have a lot of things to do, our motivation level drops because you don't even know which one to start with. So prioritize. Which one is most important? Which one should I undo first? When you prioritize things, it helps your motivation. Then surround yourself with motivated individuals. That's very important, because if all you hear is, oh, I don't want to do this, I don't feel like doing this, I don't want to feel, yourself, it will drop your motivation level as well. So surround yourself with people that are motivated. And also, yeah, you remove every form of distraction. If you're trying to achieve a thing and you have distraction all around you, your motivation level stays low. So remove anything that can distract you while you're trying to achieve a goal. Then set small goals. Yeah. At the end, as we go on, I'm going to show you how to set goals that are, small, but keeps you moving to your big objectives. So set small goals. You don't have to make them all big. They can still be. I'm still on the former slide. Please set small goals and celebrate your success. When you achieve a little thing, celebrate it. Enjoy the success. Don't feel then when you fail to achieve something, probably you put your mind in something and you fail to achieve it, it's okay. Don't let it derail you from your focus. Just keep the big picture at heart and keep going. Set a routine. It helps you stay motivated. Like you just don't wake up in the morning and then you have things set out. Oh, this is what I want to do today. After this, I'm going to do this. It's a routine. Those are the things that keep you going. And then reevaluate yourself regularly. Check, oh, so am I working towards it? How long do I still have to go? Evaluate your progress and then get support if you need to get support. Like Anthony said, you can get support depending on whatever area you need support with. There are resources available to us all. So get support if you need to, and set aside time for yourself. Yes, set is very important. Sometimes you just do what you like to do, what you enjoy doing. After doing that, you get motivated again, especially when you're tired and you don't feel like going on. Just relax, take a break, celebrate yourself, take time out, spend time with friends, and then your motivation, you'll be surprised how the motivation level will get up again and you'll be all set to move on. And the most important thing, don't forget the big picture, what you're trying to achieve. Okay, so we can go to the next slide. Yeah, so now I'll be showing you how to set goals, SMART goals. These are ways to set effective goals. It's not just about setting goals. You have to set it such that it's achievable, it's effective. Because if you set goals and you're able to achieve them, what have you done? Nothing. So this slide I'll be showing you how to set effective goals. Now, SMART is an acronym that stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals. So I'll tell you each of them. So specific goals. What are specific goals? Specific goals are goals that are well-defined, clear, well-defined. I want to have an A in my biology class this semester. That's a well-defined goal. It's not like I want to pass my exam. What is pass? It's specific. You have to, whatever you're trying to achieve, make it specific. Because if it's clear, you'll be able to run with it. And then measurable. What does it mean for a goal to be measurable? It means you can evaluate your success. You can evaluate your success. Like if I, for example, if I want to complete my whole biology textbook in maybe like 2 months, I can say, oh, okay, I'll be reading a chapter each or 5 pages each. I can evaluate that. It's measurable. So that means if I don't do 5 pages in a day, oh, I know that, okay, I didn't meet up that goal because I can measure it. So that's meaning of measurable. Be able to evaluate and measure your success. So when you're setting goals, put that in your mind. Is this goal measurable? Can I evaluate it? Can I evaluate if I've done what I've done and what I need to do more? And then achievable, setting achievable goals. Now, achievable goals, I mean realistic goals. Given the resources you have available to you, what is realistic? It could be by breaking down a big task into small goals that makes it achievable. It could be, when you set achievable goals, you're challenged. I need to point out here that achievable goals doesn't mean it has to be very easy. It could be challenging, but not too much, because we also know that there's a level of motivation that comes with when you're being challenged in a reasonable way, in your zone of comfort, in a zone not too easy, not too difficult, just appropriate to challenge you. So when you're saying achievable goals, Yes, it should be easy to realistic, easy to not too easy to achieve and not too difficult, just challenging enough to keep you moving. And then we have relevant goals. It should be relevant. When you're setting your goals, put your big objective in mind. Oh, is this goal I'm setting, does it align with my big objective? Is it what I want to achieve? Does it work hand in hand to achieve my big term goals or big objective or what I'm trying to achieve? So relevant goals. I don't want to, I want to have an A in my biology class. A relevant goal would be, oh, because I want to have an A in my biology class, oh, I would like to be attending biology study group. That's a relevant goal because it aligns with my objective of getting an A at the end of the semester. And then time-bound. Time-bound goals, when you're setting SMART goals, it has to be time-bound. Put targets, like I want to achieve this in 2 months. I want to achieve this in 10 months. I want to achieve this in 5 days. Time-bound. Why is this important? Because when you have a time-bound, when it's time-bound, there's an urgency, there's a sense of urgency. So it keeps you, oh, okay, so I have 4 weeks to the end of this. Oh, okay, so let me see. There's a sense of urgency. Don't just leave it like, I want to lose weight. What's that? When? How do you want to lose it? When? For how long are you looking at? So this the acronym you need to use when you're setting goals. If you use the SMART, like I shared with you just now, SMART, this acronym, they will help you set effective goals because by there, you'll be able to know what you want. How do you want to accomplish it? How do you measure your progress? And then is it relevant? And for how long are you looking at? So we can go to the next slide. So these are the questions you need to be asking yourself while you're setting your goals. The specific ones, why do I want to accomplish this? What do I want to accomplish and why do I want to accomplish it? Like I said at the beginning, for me, I want to have in my biology class because I want to get into, that's the reason. Then measurable, how do I measure it? Like I shared, you have a book, you probably, okay, I'll be reading 5 pages or I want to write a novel, I'll be writing 5 pages every day. I can measure that. And then achievable, like I shared also, is it realistic? What are the steps? Here you need to identify what are the steps you need to take. It's not just enough putting down goals. You need to know what steps you need to take to achieve them. And then relevance, does it align with your long-term objectives? So these are the questions you need to be asking yourself while you're setting your goals, because at the end of this workshop, we'll all be setting our goals for the semester. So the next slide, please. And then, sorry. sorry about that. The previous slide. Okay, so these are just example of SMART goals. You see, a good goal will be, I want to have 93 or better in reading by May this year. We can see from this example now, there's this specific 93, that's what I want to achieve. And it's time bound by May. Instead of saying, I want good grades in reading, what is good grades? So you have to be specific about it. I want to make, that's for measurable, I want to make no more than C. Yeah, that's specific enough. I want to have lots of good text grades. It's not specific, it's not measurable. So I want to have an A on 7 out of 10 tests. That's measurable. Those are specific goals, achievable. All you need to do is have specific plans to achieve what you have put down to that you want to achieve for the semester. So an example here is, I think this is my example really. So I want to have an A in my biology class this semester because I want to get into the nursing program. So because of that, I'll be reading 2 chapters of my textbook weekly. And I would not miss any lectures because I know what I'm trying to achieve. So missing any lectures means I'm going to be missing out some important details. So I won't miss any lectures and I'll dedicate 60 minutes every day to studying my biology 111. So relevant, my goal. And then I'm going to, all this, I want to achieve in the next 10 weeks or 10 months or, depending on where you're starting from. So these are ways of setting effective goals. And that's the essence of this workshop. So by now, I hope you're starting to think of how to set your goals for the semester. So, and that will be all for now for the SMART goals. At the end of the session, we'll be all putting down our goals for the semester. I'll hand it over to Megan, sorry.
Thank you so much, Soye. So there are so many resources and services available to you at WCC that will help you in reaching your goals. So you never have to feel like you're on your own. There is always a person or some sort of service available to you. And the first one that I want to talk about is the library. And there are several different ways. And actually, I should back up here. The library is super helpful if you are in a class where you're being assigned a paper or a project or some sort of presentation that you need to do research for. So if you are in that situation and maybe you need to find a book, or maybe you need to find relevant, credible, trustworthy articles, or maybe you need help like coming up with a topic and kind of exploring it. Maybe you need help like citing resources that you're finding. The library is the place to come for help with that. And there's so many ways that you can connect with us for help. And actually, Anthony, I'm wondering if you would be so kind as to that link at the bottom of this slide to the library's homepage, just opening that up. It's at the very bottom of the slide where it says library. Yeah, the very bottom one. It's kind of hidden under your slide advance bar.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it open, but the bar's in the way, so give me a second.
No problem. And actually, Beth shared a link to it in the chat, so that might help out as well. But we'll work with whatever we get here. So I just wanted to come to this page to show you all how easy it is to get to some of these help resources. So this is the library's homepage here. And Anthony, on the right side of the page, there's a little bar that says Ask a Librarian. So if you're on the library's page and you click there, it's really as easy as that to use our chat and email service. You'll just provide your name and your email address. You'll enter your question, and for the chat, somebody will be getting with you immediately to work with you to answer your question. And this is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And if for whatever reason somebody is not available, it will be forwarded to an email. And we work as quickly as possible to get back to those questions. And yes, scrolling down the page here, you'll notice this Book a Librarian button. Yes, right there in the middle. And this is a great option if you want to work with a librarian one-on-one with whatever your research topic or needs are. You can schedule an appointment with a librarian, and right now meet with them over Zoom. So we would set up a Zoom meeting. We would be able to share our screen and kind of walk you through things, and you would actually see a person face to face. So that might be more of an attractive option to you if you just need that sort of connection and hands-on work. So those are both options that are available to you right now as we're working remotely during the pandemic. We can go back to the slide now, Anthony. Thank you so much. So don't be a stranger if you are in that situation. We love working with you guys and helping you to be curious and explore and be successful. So please take advantage of that. And we do also have a number of resources that are more self-service for you that you can use at any time. You'll see links to it right here in this slide. There's the Citing Sources Guide. So if you need to come up with a reference list or cite sources within a paper, this will kind of walk you through how to get started with that. And then we also have something called the Research Toolkit, which is basically an all-in-one source of how to do different things related to the library and research. So if you need to find a book, if you need to find an article, maybe you need to evaluate an article to figure out if it's credible and appropriate to use in your schoolwork, this is a place where you can come and kind of explore how to do that those different things in more of like a self-service sort of model. So that's the gist of the library help that's available to you as students. The other thing that I want to talk about is the Learning Commons. The Learning Commons is an amazing resource. They offer study help and also help with using technology. And you'll notice that there are a number of different services listed on this slide here. And I believe that everyone will have access to this slide either now or after this presentation. So please feel free to, on your own, just scroll through the slides, click on these links, explore some of these resources more. So focusing on study help to begin with, there are a variety of different options for you depending on what your style is, depending on what your needs are. There's drop-in study help that's available pretty much on the fly. This is occurring, I believe, over Zoom right now. Is that correct, Beth? Am I getting that right?
That is correct.
Okay, great. And it works just as it sounds. If you are working on something and you need help, you can drop in to the link that's available in the drop-in study help, and you can get the assistance that you need over Zoom. There's also after-hours study help. This is a service that's set up so if you're working on something like later in the evening, maybe on weekend hours, that's set up so you can use it and get the assistance you need with whatever your study needs are. There are also study groups that you can join that are meeting over Zoom right now, and these cover almost every subject area imaginable available at WCC. So if you want to work with your peers and tutors in a group setting, this might be a great option for you to sign up for. And the Learning Commons tutors also offer workshops on things like managing your time and developing study skills, taking tests, all of that sort of related stuff that's kind of emphasizing how you can be a more successful student and be empowered to learn to the best of your ability. You can also you can also schedule consultations with them as well. So again, this is something you can sign up for and meet with a tutor and just kind of go through your experience and figure out if you're on track to do what you need to do for your classes and your particular credit situation. If you'll look over onto the right side of this slide, there's also some details on the lab help that's available. Lab help is going to be focused more on the use of technology. So things like Microsoft Office, maybe you have questions about how to use Microsoft Word or PowerPoint, or maybe there's a specialized software that you're using in your class. This is what the lab help is available for. On their homepage, which the Learning Commons homepage is, the link is listed at the bottom of the slide here. You can click on that, and there's also a chat feature on that page that you can use to ask for help with this type of thing if you need it. You can also schedule lab consultations for figuring out how to use different technology and software. And again, that's happening over Zoom that offers some one-on-one face-to-face help. And then there's also this Get Tech Ready link, and it basically offers you different tips and options that are available to you for being technologically ready to succeed in all of your classes. And once again, you can visit that main link at the bottom there for more information. Okay. So sometimes it helps to have a specific person that you can reach out to who's specialized in the area that you're studying. Maybe it's your major, maybe it's related to a specific class that you're taking. So this table right here just shows you the associated librarians and tutors for different departments. So we've got everything listed here from health sciences to math and sciences. So if you're taking a class in any of those areas or majoring in any of those areas, you'll notice that there's a specific librarian and also a specific lead tutor that you can connect with whatever questions that you have in those areas. And at this point, Anthony is going to take a little bit more time to talk about success coaching since he is a success coach. So I'm going to hand things over to him.
Thank you so much. Oh, so again, so Soye and Megan, great job on those slides. And now I'm going to transition back to a little bit more about success coaching, because we really want to drive home the importance of making sure that you're connecting with your resources at WCC. As you can see at the top of the slide there, it says a success coach provides holistic, personalized one-on-one support to students throughout their first year at WCC. And I want to really reiterate that to all of our students, because it's really important to understand that I always say when life happens or when things get hard, because college, between classes and life and now living in COVID-19, doing things virtually, there are a lot of challenges that we all face. So I want to make sure that you understand how important this is to connect with your success coach. So at this point, you all should have received information from your success coach. If you haven't thus far, you will momentarily soon, an email or a text message, introduction saying, hey, I'm your success coach. Let's connect, reach out to me. Make sure you respond to those messages, respond to the email, respond to the text message. So that way you can build a relationship with that person, because he or she will be instrumental in helping you be successful. And I always tell students, if you don't need that person at that moment in time now, just still reach back out to say, hey, I don't need help now, but in the future I might. That's always great. So make sure that you are connecting with your success coach. And again, some of the things that coaches help students with is how to navigate obstacles, connect with campus resources, help develop goals, and provide academic tips on how to be successful. So make sure that you are, if you're in any one of those majors on the right side of the screen, business, math, arts, health science, humanities, advanced technologies. So make sure, even if you're on this call today and you're not in one of those majors, still connect with a coach. And we'll make sure we get you in the right direction. One thing I always tell students at WCC, we're not going to turn you away, all right? So if you are not in one of those majors, don't feel the need to say, oh, well, I didn't see my major on the screen, I can't get help. Nope, that's not true. Still reach out, connect, and then we'll make sure that you are supported just like everyone else. So make sure that you connect with us. Our email address is at the bottom. I hope you can see us. It's a little covered up down there, but the phone number is 677-5102. And then the success coaching email is successcoaching@wccnet.edu. And now I'm going to turn it back over to Megan really quickly to kind of wrap us up and take us home.
Yes, all right. So what we're going to do now is put some of what we've learned about SMART goals and WCC academic support resources to use. And what we're going to have you do is, Beth should be, thank you, Beth. She just posted a link to the SMART goals worksheet in the chat. And we're going to have you click on that link and open up the worksheet. And it's going to walk you through creating one goal for the winter semester. Okay, that goal can be related to, being successful in your most challenging class. It could be related to increasing your overall GPA or identifying a specific GPA you want to achieve, just as a couple of ideas. But right now, you should click on that worksheet. And maybe what we can do is, Anthony, if you're able to click on the link to the worksheet, and if we need to, we can answer any questions about it for students and just kind of show them what it looks like so they know they're in the right place. Okay, so you should be taking time to go through this worksheet. And let's see, I can't remember here. I don't know that we're having students fill out this worksheet on the Google form, or if they're making a copy. Does anyone know that? I'm sorry, I
think Beth just put the downloadable one in the Google Doc in the link, so that way they can download the document.
Yeah,
okay.
I would recommend downloading it. I also uploaded a Word file as well, so that you should be able to get that as well. But either way, so you can download it to your own desktop. But yeah, I think if everybody starts typing in there with the Google Doc, it's going to get really interesting really quickly.
That's
very wild.
What's happening right now.
Yeah, so once again, go ahead and download this worksheet either from Google, or Beth was so helpful as to attach the file to the chat, so you can access it there as well. So take the next couple of minutes and go through this worksheet to help you identify and craft your SMART goal for the winter semester. And then in a couple of minutes, Anthony is going to be sharing a slide, and we're going to be using Poll Everywhere again. And you're going to be posting the draft of your goal to Poll Everywhere. And we'll explain that to you more in a minute. So right now, just focus on the SMART goals worksheet and kind of get your goal information here. And if you have any questions, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask a question, or post it to the chat as well. We don't want anyone to feel lost and adrift.
We definitely don't want that.
Anthony, do you want to share that Poll Everywhere where they can submit their goals, just so that's available if they get to that point in the next little bit here?
There you have it. And so what you're going to do on this slide here, as Megan mentioned, you're going to use the same way you text message the responses for the Poll Everywhere earlier in the morning. You're going to do the same thing here. You can type in your goal. It can be a word, a sentence, a statement, what have you. So you can do that here, and then they'll populate here. And I'm going to type my goal in so that way you can see my goal. I'll be the first one if you want me to. Let's see. That wasn't me. That wasn't me, by the way. That's not me.
Oh, it wasn't?
I wish it wasn't me though.
That's a great goal. So 4.0 this semester, support student success.
That was me.
I figured that was you.
Visit the library.
That was mine. Yeah, so your goal doesn't have to be super developed to post it here. It can just be a descriptive word or phrase, just something really brief, just to kind of give everyone an idea of what you're thinking about and kind of collectively being able to see our goals here.
And what I'm thinking too, Megan, is because the system allows what is your goal, what we can do is I think because we're providing statements, it's getting jumbled up. So what I'm going to do is clear the board really quickly, and I want you all to resend your goal in one word,
Great idea.
So our responses are cleared now, and we're going to just send one word with your goal. There we go.
Looking good. And I know that there's kind of a lot going on right now, and I don't want to overwhelm anyone, but there is one more component to this activity. And I understand that we're not all going to complete it in our allotted time today, but the final piece to this activity is once you go through your worksheet and you've posted your goal to Poll Everywhere, there is a link that's being shared to the chat by Beth. And it's a form that you're going to fill out with just some of your personal information, like your name and your WCC email. And it's going to ask you for what you're going to post your full SMART goal into that form. And what that's going to do is it's going to let us know what your SMART goal is for the winter semester, and it's going to allow us to keep you accountable and also connect you to specific resources and maybe actually follow up with you individually at some point after our meeting time today to make sure that you have what you need and just kind of encourage you and cheer you along. So again, that link is posted to the chat. You can open up that link now, and don't panic if you aren't close to finishing out your goal. You will have time to do this at some point today. Just remember to submit your SMART goal to this link that Beth just shared. It's a LibWizard link, and basically it's just, it's a form.
So I'm going to just jump in here because we are going to move back to the main session, but it looks like the other groups are also in the same spot. So we're saying about 12:35. So if anybody has questions about their goals or developing their goals for Megan and Anthony and Soye working on these worksheets and the link to that, to telling us what your goal is for the year. Now is the time to ask that, and we can really help you identify some of those SMART goal components.
And so for the person who put the 4.0, I hope that you are definitely connecting with your resources, going to tutoring, utilizing the library, making sure you're connecting with your success coach, creating. And one thing I always encourage students to do as well, even though you're in a virtual setting, you can still create study groups with your classmates virtually. So utilize that as well. So utilize each other to make sure that you have support both inside and outside the classroom. So those are some things, some tips for anyone. Let's see, Excel, Thrive. For Ground, I'm not sure what you meant by that, but whatever that means, I don't know how to even advise on that one, but yes, I'm guessing maybe say stay grounded, probably, I'm not sure. But planning is very important as well. So make sure you plan, prepare, and stay, I keep I keep small journals near my computer desk here that I write in all the time. So I'm always writing in my journal to make sure I'm planning and writing things down. So just a little tips and tricks that I utilize throughout my day to make sure that I am planning and preparing for the semester and anything, meetings and scheduled assignments and things like that. So I encourage you. I hope that everyone on this call gets a 4.0 this semester. So it's all up to you. You're starting the semester with a 4.0. It's up to you to lose it. That's what I always say. You got a 4.0 right now. You're starting a 4.0, but it's up to you to lose it. So go in with a positive attitude and utilize your resources, and I guarantee you'll be successful.
All right, I am going to post the link to our next stop. It is for a Q&A session with VPI Hearns. Also, don't miss out because this is your chance. You have to be present to win. You could win a Dell laptop, a $250 bookstore scholarship, or a WCC gift basket. So we will be doing prize drawings along with the question and answers. But we will be hanging out in here for the next 5 minutes. So if you have questions for us directly, please feel free to ask those. Thank you to everybody that came and to our wonderful presenters. We really appreciate the information and resources that you shared. And again, we will have a follow-up email to all of our folks that have participated today, all the students that have participated today with with this information and the PowerPoints with all of these, pardon me, great links.